Joining us now is Giorgio Stiliano of Georgio's Salon and Spa, who we can thank for our luck today. We got our hair and makeup done there this morning, and yeah,
thank you very much.
Much better than we could do ourselves, for sure.
Exactly.
Let's hope that. Yeah.
Well, Giorgio, thanks for joining us on the show.
My pleasure.
And you have trained all over: Athens, Rome, New York,
Correct.
And now you're in downtown Mooresville. So start off by telling us a little bit about your story, how you got started, and about your training.
I was always very artistic, and I always liked to work with hair and create. I believe creation is either painting or doing hair is very artistic, either one form of art. So when I was about, I would say 17 to 18 years old, I graduated in School of Arts in New York, and I felt there was more to this. I felt that I wanted to go back to Europe again. And I wanted to get more of the insights, because the Europeans, obviously, they're the ones that they create styles and fashion, and we're looking to Europe to see what we do here. So I did go back to Athens in the School of Arts in Athens, graduate that in 3 months, then back to Rome, and 3 months there. And it's a funny story. I want to mention that story. I was intrigued by this hairstylist who is very well known throughout the world today, and his name is Georgio Conti, and he is an icon in our business. You know, we're looking up to him to see what we're going to do here. So me as a young kid, a little crazy, I would say at the point, I walk into the salon, very huge salon in Rome, and I asked to see him. So of course I got turned down, and the lady looked at me in my face, the receptionist, and says, well, do you have an appointment? I says, no. Does he know you? No. So, well, he's not here, and it's very difficult to see him. At this point, I said, well, I live across the street, actually, in a hotel. I'm staying there. And call me. Call me in the hotel number. This is the number. She says, yes, yes, okay. I left, and I knew that it was never going to happen.
Right.
It's like,
it's like one of these go away things. And, but I was looking, and I decided to go back, take another chance. So when I walk inside, there it was my lucky day, I guess. You know, there he walks in with all his entourage behind him and all that, and he comes in, and I go up very boldly right on him, and I said, hey, Giorgio, hi. He says to me. He looked at me and says, who are you? He says, I'm really looking up to you. I came all the way from the United States just to see you. He says, are you a hairstylist? So at this point I said, yes, but I wasn't really. I was just starting out. Right. So he looked at me and he says, what do you want me to do? He says, I want you to teach me. He says, I don't do this in one-to-one basis. I just do the shows and fashion things. But he looked at me again and says, you know, you're very bold. And I like boldness in men, like just to walk like this out of, I think I can use you. So he called one of these hairstylists up, and he says, look, he says, I want you to take that kid. I was a kid. I was maybe 18, 19, and teach him and let him work here for a while, see what he can do. He turned around to me and he said, well, I'm gonna have you work in here, but it's absolutely no pay. You're gonna make tips, you're gonna clean, you're gonna wash hair, and you're gonna learn. And to me, it was a party time at this point. You know, I was very impressed. I was like, never been in the presence of anybody like that to that magnitude, you know. And yes, I did very well there. I stayed 3 months there, and when I graduated the school in Rome, I kept in touch with Giorgio. And in fact, I came back up here, and when I came up here, I, through other sources, a friend of my dad's and all that, at the time, I knew someone in La Coupe Salon, New York City, and I was fortunate enough to get in there to work. They had trust in my ability that I can do things, and I met there some great hairstylists, and my mentor, I would say, it was Suga, Japanese descent, American born, one of the greatest hairstylists I've ever seen. You see him in the magazines. It was very well known at the time, and that's where I learned my technique and what to do with hair and how to approach hair and what is the outcome going to be according to what the hair gives you. Right. So that's what we learned, how to do that new technique that is actually working right now in Europe and some good salons in New York and LA.
Okay.
The dry technique, what we call.
Now, how much is teachable? You know, how much is being trained really well, and how much is just innate ability when it comes to?
Very important, both. You have to have the ability, the raw talent, what we call. You have to be able to detect it as a hairstylist, as an artist. You got to see the raw talent there. You take these younger people and you mold them, and it's very easy to be taught. You teach them, and of course you're going to have to make decisions down the line, who is good enough and who is not.
Right.
And you let go of the ones that you don't feel like they can really carry that kind of style and technique. So it's hard sometimes because you have to let go of some good people, but overall, if they have the talent and the time, you have to put time in. And
now,
yes.
And you talk about a different technique too. How is what you do different from what other people in this area do, or in general do? You call it. You mentioned freehand.
Freehand is really a technique that is very, very difficult to master. Mm-hmm. The reason for that is, as I had told you before, I believe, you don't have guidelines in the hair.
Right.
Wet hair stick together, and you can separate them. Mm-hmm. And you can actually see the guidelines you have because of the reason that it's wet and stick together. Mm-hmm. And when you cut hair with a freehand, the hair moves around. So you have to be able to detect it, look at it, look at the face, look at the hair, and see what the hair is going and what they give you. Mm-hmm. It's raw ability at this time and talent. Mm-hmm. So if you're not talented enough and you don't have mastered this enough, you can make major mistakes.
That's what's interesting. Yeah. I was watching him cut your hair the other day, and it was, you cut it wet, you cut it dry, you cut it standing up, you cut it sitting down.
Well, and usually, you know, people do the clips, and it's kind of layer by layer when they, and he's just, you know, all over,
well, that's exactly what we call freehand, and the ability for that. It takes a long time to master it, really. To become a real master, it takes you about 10 years.
Now, how did you end up in downtown Mooresville by way of Rome and New York and
okay,
Florida?
I tell you, when I was in Florida, it was very well, you know, we're doing very well down there, but I feel that North Carolina, it is not a second-rate state. I believe that North Carolina, especially Charlotte, which is in there, the future is Charlotte. Mm-hmm. And I believe they need some good people in here and grow with the state, with the city. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's what I bring here. Mm-hmm. I think I'm ready to take over that city at this point. In the future, I'm looking down the future to expand and go from that point.
And what's your perception of the hairstyles in this area? When you walk around and you see different hairstyles, is it?
I think it's like any place else. Mm-hmm. You have the bad ones and you have the good ones. Mm-hmm. I did see some good work. The problem I have here is I never see that wow work. Mm-hmm. I never see the work that you stop and look and say, my God, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. You know, you can have a good hairstyle, but the ability of create something artistic is different.
Mm-hmm. Well, is it also more just the style of people around here? Like, I tend to see a lot of people like to have their hair long and straight.
Well,
more so in the lake area.
Yes, I believe that we have to bring that Europe or New York kind of style
like
here.
Like bringing some fashion for hair.
Some fashion in here. I've seen a lot of ladies here with the hair flat and straight. This has actually been out for a long time now. And like Giorgio said in Italy when he came here in Miami and he put up a whole fashion show, and I actually talked to him, he said, let's make women look like women again. Mm-hmm. Let's bring the hair out, let's bring movement, let's create something out of it, something artistic, not that's just flat and nothing doing look. Mm-hmm. And actually I train my people not to use the flat iron anymore, mm-hmm. to create that movement into the hair and make women look very pretty, very sexy, mm-hmm. because that's what you get by movement and by a good haircut.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got some great specials, introductory specials running. Yes. If people want to come in and see what you can do, we've got 50% off cut, color, and highlight, or 30% off color, 20% off a haircut, which is a great deal. And then also 20% off Brazilian keratin treatment to keep the hair soft and silky. Well,
we're doing this because we like to introduce ourselves at this point in the area.
Right.
And by doing it, women will come and try us out, hopefully, mm-hmm. and see what we can do.
All right, well, that's great. And people can find the information about Georgio's on LKNSavings.com. So So thank you very much for coming in and speaking with us.
It's all
and
my pleasure.
for doing
Thank
our
you
hair
for the
this
beautiful
morning.
hair. Yeah.
Thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank
You
you.
look beautiful, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming on the show, Georgio.
Thank you.